Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm Counter from Team Shadow Strike, and this is going to be a discussion video over a topic that unfortunately is present in every single form of everything, and that is cheating. Now, it seems like every single time I look at other people's videos or I see other people talking, they always make something about cheating, so I figured I would do the same thing. Now, I'm sure everyone out there has been cheated against at least once. I've been cheated against in Yu-Gi-Oh! More times than not. And a lot of the times it was against older players when I was younger, and they took advantage of me just because that's just how some people are. Now, cheating, just to clarify, in my definition, is doing things that are outside the rules that give you an unfair advantage. This can include stacking your deck, drawing extra cards, having pre-knowledge of what you're going to draw, or pre-knowledge of what your opponent is going to draw, things like this. Now, I hope none of you have ever... I hope none of you cheat. I'm pretty sure we all maybe have done it once, whether it be on something like a math test, which I did a lot of in high school, whether it be a video game using cheat codes, or maybe you've even cheated in something. We all make mistakes, whatever. Now, I'm not promoting cheating in no way, shape, or form. I have never cheated at any card game in my life. And you can quote me on that, and I'll challenge anybody who ever says that I have. Because my whole opinion on cheating is this: if you have to cheat in order to win or beat something, it's not really winning, because you didn't win by the rules. You didn't win completely fair and square. Now there is a huge difference between cheating and also, I've seen a couple of times where two players, they did not know exactly how an effect worked, so they carried on in the middle of a tournament play, and that they were wrong, and then they're called for cheating. But in my definition, that is not really cheating, because you see, in Yu-Gi-Oh! You have to be a fucking rocket scientist half the time just to get all the rulings, and you can't tell me that Konami, and if you've played Yu-Gi-Oh! You can attest to this, Konami sometimes alters the way cards activate in order to promote their new support, because if the cards that they have come out can be stopped by something that's simple and cheap, these new high-dollar cards are not going to be worth much if something so cheap can stop it. That's how Konami operates. Now, in in Yu-Gi-Oh! With chain rules and activations and time missings and things like that, you put two younger players together who may not know all of this backwards and forwards, it can cause them to get confused, it can cause them to not want to play the game because it's just too much of a headache, and it can also cause them to literally play a game and go over some of these things, and might even, in tournament play, get away with it, not because they're cheating, it's just because they don't know any better. If you guys recall, I did a video here talking about hating on younger players, and I referenced the Asian Eyes White Dragon making those videos talking about low-rated duel segment making fun of the younger players. This is kind of the same thing. When you are young and inexperienced, those kind of things, they're not necessarily cheating, and they're not, but they're ignorance, and by ignorance I mean not knowing of. So many people confuse the word ignorant with the word stupid. All ignorant means is you do not know something. I am ignorant about physics, guys. I don't know jack shit about physics. So, I am ignorant about physics. You might be ignorant about geometry, not knowing shit about geometry. It doesn't make you stupid, it just means you don't know anything about it. So, here's my whole thing. Here are a couple of ways you can kind of sometimes watch your opponent. Say you're playing someone you've never met, and maybe it's someone that one of your friends has told you, hey, you need to watch him, sometime he cheats. And there's been a couple of people at my locals that have that personality, or that tendency. And I'm not going to name names, but, we all say, okay, watch that person. They have We believe they're stacking. We believe they're double drawing. Here are a couple simple ways that you can always prevent that. Simple, every time you or your opponent looks through their deck and adds a card to their hand or does something to it, shuffle their deck. If your opponent does this and they don't at least offer to let you shuffle the deck, then there's a problem. Now, I've been to a Yu-Gi-Oh! Tournament, and I was playing against a guy that played Exodia. Now, for those of you who don't know what Exodia is, basically in Yu-Gi-Oh! Exodia is the king of the game. And if you can draw all 5 pieces that make him, you win the game. Pretty simple. Well, he shuffled his deck, and he somehow was able to put the card on top that he wanted. And I caught him doing it. And I was young. This was like when I was 12 years old, and this guy was like in his 20s. And I said, "You just stacked your deck. You put a piece of Exodia on the top." And he said, "No, I didn't." I said, "Fine, then let me cut your deck." And he said, "No, you can't." And I said, "It says in the rule book the opponent may shuffle the opponent's deck if they search through it." He did an effect that allowed him to look in his deck and take a card and add it to his hand, and then he shuffled and put the card that he wanted to draw next on top of the deck. Now, so there's a good tip. If you ever think your opponent is cheating on you, shuffle their deck. I'm not saying if your opponent maybe sometimes forgets to offer you once, don't immediately just throw up the hand and go cheater, because we all do it occasionally, where you get in a game and you're moving so fast, you're just like shuffle, 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 place it back down. See what I do if you ever watch my match videos, after I shuffle my deck, I place it right where I go, and I'll do this to my opponent, like, "Do you want to shuffle?" Or I'll say, "Care to cut?" Something like that. And if you ever notice one of us on camera doing this, that means no, you're okay, you're fine. Which to me, if your opponent is telling you no, you're fine when you're playing a game after you shuffled your deck, that is a good compliment, because it tells that it's them saying they trust you. Another way, always keep count of cards. Jesus Christ. Keep the number of cards that your opponent has in their hand to memory. If you notice your opponent has 2 cards in their hand at one point, and then a turn later they have 7, something's wrong, unless they had some sort of an effect, like Chaos Breaker, that allowed them to refuel their hand. Unless your opponent has Chaos Breaker and they have inserted that pineapple into your anus like we talked about a couple of videos ago, then chances are their hand did not grow that big. But you know what I mean by this. If you know your opponent has 4 cards in their hand before they start their turn, and all of a sudden they have 6, you know they're double drawing. It's just something you need to watch out for. I mean, unfortunately, cheating is always going to be around. I remember, I'm not going to name names, there was this guy, he played Yu-Gi-Oh! He was really big in Europe, and he got disqualified in a tournament because if you've played card games, you'll be able to understand this. If you've ever seen an Ultra Pro sleeve like this, like I just had this on a Yu-Gi-Oh! Card right now, but if it, like, you know how they have this smooth back? Well, he had his nails, and what he would do is he would put like a little mark. I did it myself, but I don't know if you can see that. He made like a little indent, like, okay, there you go, that's pretty good. He made like a little mark on his opponent's cards, like he would say, "Can I see the grave?" or I'm guessing, and he would make one of those little marks on the card. That way, when his opponent was shuffling his deck the next game, he could see that mark, and he could put that card on top of the deck and stack his opponent's deck and give him a bad card to draw. Now, that is a prime example of cheating. Now, I know that happened a long time ago, and it happened like 6, 7, 8 months, or even a year ago, and I can't remember. And it was a big thing, because this guy was like, he was pretty popular. It's like, okay, how many times has he done this? And he gets caught, and he got away with it. So, guys, here's my message to you. If you have ever cheated, or you know someone that does cheated, it's not worth it, because the second you get caught doing it, everyone is going to assume that you do it every stinking game. It's not worth it. So here's my advice. If you ever have been cheated on, just watch your opponent. I'm not saying look for them to look at them like you're trying to catch them making a mistake, but just keep a watchful eye. If you notice their hands getting exponentially bigger, it's a red flag. If you notice that they're, they're shuffling a little too much and it just doesn't look like it's a clean shuffle, cut their deck or shuffle their deck yourself. Whatever. It's just something that I think I wanted to cover just to get my thoughts out there, because I'm pretty sure, like I said earlier, everyone's been cheated against before, and it sucks. So that's all I have, guys. I just wanted to get this video out there so you guys can see it, and maybe think of a few ways that you could prevent cheating, I cannot speak today. Prevent getting cheated against. Does that even... Good grief. Guys, I was going to be a journalism major before I went into IT administration, but anywho, so there's just a few ways you can prevent cheating. If you can think of another way that you can help people to prevent them from getting cheated against, feel free to put it in the comment section below and let others see it. You know, always good to get another opinion. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, so please leave feedback. Now we're at 192 subscribers, so once we get 8 more subscribers, I will post up the contest video for our box giveaway, and it won't cost you a single thing to enter the contest. And if you are to win, I pay all the shipping costs, so it will come to you, and all you have to do is open it up and enjoy your prize. And I'll be giving a box away to the first prize winner and a mat and 5 packs to the second prize winner. So spread the word about the contest, spread the word about the channel to your friends, share the videos on your Facebook or your Twitter or your Instagram or whatever the fuck kids are doing these days. I only have a Twitter. So feel free to share them and spread the word, because the more people that are in the contest, the better, and the more people who subscribe to the channel, the more contests I do. And so anyway, hope you enjoyed it, guys. So thanks for watching. Comment, rate, subscribe, thumbs up, and enjoy your weekend. See ya.